Part 39. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 381. Shinwoo Continent. How's it going? Haven't you come out yet? The situation is not good. This time it suddenly went crazy. What? Isn't it just one step away from breaking through to Deluo Jinxian? It is said that the breakthrough failed because the inner demons were not eliminated. If the Great Elder had taken action in time, the sect leader might have fallen. Now we are out of danger, but we still need I-Soul Spirit to stabilize our soul. Otherwise, I won't survive 3 years. But the appearance of the I-Soul Spirit will take 3 years, so what should we do? The He family in Heshui County, Shinwoo Continent. Some family elders gathered together and discussed anxiously. He Wu, the leader of the He family, has been practicing for tens of millions of years. Finally, he found an opportunity to break through to Deluo Jinxian thousands of years ago. And chose to enter retreat to practice a year ago. Because of the breakthrough of Deluo Jinxian, a heavenly disaster will come. Therefore, the 6 golden immortal elders in the family all went to the retreat mountain range to assist in the breakthrough. Everything was going according to plan. However, at the moment of breakthrough, Hua was trapped in his inner demons and couldn't get out of it. And he was devoured by inner demons and fought against the 9 golden immortals for more than 300 rounds. In the end, he was suppressed by the supreme elder of the family. Even so, he was also devoured by inner demons and suffered backlash. Even the soul is gone because of this. Even the Supreme Elder, who is the great Luo Jinxian, dare not say that he can cure him. Only the Bingpo Jing guarding the family's back mountain has the ability to save lives. However, the appearance of the ice spirit is determined randomly according to the laws of heaven and earth. They are just relying on the fact that there is a basic salary flame in Mount Everest. Only then did he dare to fix the back mountain as the appearance of Bingpo Jing. Just when everyone was frowning, the elder of the family walked out with a solemn expression. Looking at the elders of He family who have gathered together, his face returned to its previous serious expression. The great elder He Quan is the biological brother of He Wu's mother. He also brought up the matter of searching for Bingpo Jing. Everyone is already here. I believe you all know the matter. He Quan gets straight to the point. The He family elders present had no extra time to consider other things. Although the I-Soul Spirit appears in the mountains behind us, it is extremely difficult to find it. One of the elders stood up and answered respectfully. The other elders also stood up and expressed their opinions. The Ice Spirit will appear 3 years later, but we may not be able to find it. In addition, the opponent is a kind of spiritual body with intelligence, so the difficulty of finding it is also greatly increased. Besides, the lifespan of the sect master is only 3 years, so the opportunities given to us are really limited. Although there are 2 disciples in the back mountain who are training, it is absolutely impossible to find the I-Soul Spirit. Everyone replied, making He Quan's face gradually become colder. He wants results, not the process of searching. If it was so easy to find the I-Soul Spirit, why would I ask you to come here to think of countermeasures? He Quan's stern and scolding attitude silenced them instantly. Anyone who knows him knows this. He Quan is not only a serious person. His acting style is very decisive and ruthless. Once the words came out of his mouth, it was impossible or even impossible to take them back. So after he said these words, everyone stopped talking. They knew that if they continued talking, they would die. Just when the atmosphere dropped to freezing point, the Supreme Elder appeared in front of everyone. An overwhelming momentum fell from the sky instantly. Everyone looked up in shock. The Supreme Elder's strength is even more terrifying. Even if it just exudes a sense of majesty, it makes me suffocate and tremble with fear. The Supreme Elder has been in Deluo Jinxian for more than 100,000 years. the accumulated mana alone is enough to make us fall. If not, no one will be able to solve the problem of the sect leader going crazy this time. The entire family will be destroyed at the hands of the sect leader. He Quan saw the Supreme Elder appearing. I know that Hyo's situation has stabilized. But the momentum exuded from the other party. But it proves that the situation is not optimistic. After all, Hyu is no ordinary golden immortal. But he is a cultivator who is about to be promoted to Deluo Jinxian. If an ordinary soul is damaged, the Supreme Elder will naturally have a solution. Elder Taizhang is one of the elders of the He family. A terrifying existence that has appeared since ancient times. How terrifying is its combat effectiveness? It is not something that the existing practitioners of Xinwu continent can imagine. Logically speaking, Hyo's injury was not a problem in front of him. But he was about to cause a disaster. Suddenly being attacked by inner demons. Cause damage to the soul. Even if the soul is restored, the realm of cultivation will still be lost. Over time, he will become a useless person. Even if the Supreme Elder has monstrous abilities. There is no terrifying ability to reverse fate. However, Bing Po Jing is different. It can not only repair the soul, but also help practitioners who have been severely injured. Quickly restore peak strength in a short period of time. Even a perfect level elixir cannot achieve this level. This is the only reason why we must find the Bing Po Jing. Supreme Elder, how is the sect master's injury? He Quan took a step forward and asked with a solemn expression. The Supreme Elder looked around and then shook his head. Although the soul has been recovered, it has been tainted by the road of reincarnation. Even this elder. There is no way to save the situation. Now the only way to find the I-Soul spirit as soon as possible can the sect leader escape from death. The moment he saw Hyo's injury, even he was a little surprised. Unexpectedly, that inner demon has become a fatal injury in Hyu's heart. Although this treatment, a trace of Deluo Jinxian's spiritual power was injected into Hyo's body. But if he can't wake up within 3 years, and broke through the shackles of Deluo Jinxian's realm, the final destination is death. You can't even enter the 6 paths of reincarnation. He can only become a lonely ghost. The path of the wronged soul that eventually drifts to the underworld. Become one of the many wronged souls. Devoured by time, heading towards true demise. Until then, even him. Nor can Hyu's soul be restored. Thinking of this, the Supreme Elder sighed. Then he turned and left. Hyu is the most promising being in the sect to become a quasi-sage. His life and death is related to the future development of the entire He family. Therefore, everyone will spare no effort to find the Ice Spirit. Help Hyu get through the difficulties. Seeing that the Supreme Elders were helpless and left, the elders of the He family were even more sad. The only person who had any hope of saving Hyu was helpless. Then what else can they do? Second Elder, pass on the order and find the I-Soul essence at all costs. He Quan was silent for a moment and then suddenly gave an order. The second elder on the side heard this, although he did not agree with it. But now they only have this way to go. Elder He Quan. We have 2 disciples training in the back mountain. Suddenly an elder stood up and said. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 382. Everyone in the He family heard this. Focus all your attention on that person. You mean? Let the 2 He family disciples go find the I-Soul crystal. Although He Quan guessed what he was going to say. But I really didn't expect that there would be 2 disciples of the half-step golden immortal in the mountain after the disaster. A family disciple who can enter the back mountain. Except for Jinxian's senior staff. The rest of the crew wanted to get in. It must be accompanied by senior family elders. Otherwise, even if they don't have high-level monsters, They can also be frozen to death by freezing temperatures. In addition to the treasures to keep out the cold, you also need to have a strong body. It is best to be able to withstand the cold without using magic. But this is only possessed by cultivators above Xianxian. Place it in other cold environments. Even a quasi-immortal can resist. But Mount Everest is the only remaining ancient mountain in the world. Even if the spiritual energy is not as strong as that time, no other one can be found in the whole universe. So after they captured this mountain, a relevant training system was formulated. In this way, it can not only strengthen the cultivation spirit of the family's children, it can also improve the fighting and cold-resistant abilities of the family's children. Whose disciples are they? As soon as Hequan said these words, the elders present stopped talking. At this time, let the two disciples go look for the Eye-Soul crystal. It is tantamount to committing suicide. So Hequan asked the two people about their identities. It's just to appease them when the time comes. Returning to Elder Hequan, those two are the great-great-grandsons of Elder Hefei. The man's words had just left his mouth. An old man in grey robe stood up. The moment Hequan saw this person's appearance, I sighed deeply in my heart. That's all, I'll let this elder go there personally. Then Hefei left without waiting for him to speak. Hefei is the sixth elder in the family. Both in terms of combat ability and talent, he is the best in the family. But it is such an existence. The descendants of the future generations are very sad. Not only his biological children died one after another during the training. Even the talented grandchildren died one after another due to various reasons. For hundreds of years, there were only two great-great-grandchildren left. Probably God has mercy on me. These two great-great-grandsons are not only amazingly powerful. Even his talent is something few in the family can match. Now he is just over 100 years old. He is already a half-step golden immortal. Such a super talent. Even if you put them in the heavens, you won't be able to find many. Elder Hequan, although my two great-great-grandsons are young, their strength is incredible. You can rest assured and leave them to them. Although Hefei still felt reluctant to give up. But he also knows the overall development of the He family is more important than his personal development. But this does not mean that he will give up his two great-great-grandchildren. After his children died one after another. This is his future pride. How could his pride be destroyed so easily? But he knew Hequan's temper well. I want to prevent my two great-great-grandchildren from being harmed at all. You can also take advantage of this opportunity to gain great opportunities. We have to start from Hequan's concerns. So he spoke without being humble or arrogant. Monsters and beasts appear frequently in the back mountains now. Although my two great-great-grandsons have the strength to resist. But there is no guarantee that when encountering the Eye-Soul crystal, you will have enough strength to capture it. It doesn't matter if they die. If it delays the process, I'm afraid the sect leader's life will be in danger. After a few words, Member Hequan already had a plan in mind. At this moment, he suddenly started to grab it. Even if he goes there in person, there are also monsters there that he may not be able to deal with. So he needs an absolutely complete plan to proceed. What Elder Hefei said is absolutely true. I was the one who made the mistake. Let's do this. Let's send two powerful men from the family to accompany us. In addition, I will also go there myself, so that I can ensure everything is safe. Hequan's words made everyone fall silent with different thoughts. Even if Hequan knew what Hefei meant, I won't care about it either. Now in his heart, Hewu is the most important. Hewu is the most talented cultivator in the entire family. The combat power is unrivaled at the same level. If you continue to practice, Quasi-Sage is out of the question. Give it time to practice. The He family can become the first family in the world. Therefore, even if he knows about He-Fei's little plan. I won't even try to expose it. But he doesn't expose it. It doesn't mean that others in the family don't care either. After all, no one can have too many resources. So another family elder stepped forward. He looked at He Quan with a solemn expression. Elder He Quan, there is something I don't know whether to talk about or not. He Quan raised his eyebrows. Some anger suddenly rose in his heart. He usually doesn't care about these people's petty thoughts. But now he is making fun of Huo's life. He couldn't stand it no matter what. If you shouldn't say it, don't say it. He Quan's sudden anger silenced everyone. But He Fei didn't have any scruples. I saw him taking a step forward calmly. Something big happened in Zushan continent. Elder He Quan was helping the sect leader break through. Maybe he didn't know what it was. He Fei's words successfully attracted He Quan's attention. Explain. Xiao Xian, the head of the Xiao family in Zushan continent, is the reincarnation of the founding spirit. The last time he awakened the mystery in his womb, he regained all his fighting power. But his beloved died because he helped him resist the saint's fatal blow. Ice crystals are needed to stabilize the soul. As soon as this statement came out, He Wu was horrified. Xiao Xian turned out to be the reincarnation of the founding Yuanling. In this case, all the mysteries can be explained clearly. The founding Yuanling is the first person to exist in this world. Even the way of heaven is not as good as him. If not for what happened later, Dao Dao is still the strongest person in this world. After listening to He Fei's report, He Quan was even more horrified. Such a thing could happen. He was just helping He Wu break through to Luo Jingxian. Such a big event happened in the world of heavens. Originally, he only had to face other cultivators in the heavens. But now, we still have to face a founding Yuanling. Even if there are thousands of him, they cannot be Xiao Xian's opponent. This is simply something that cannot be accomplished. He Quan's expression changed rapidly. Naturally, everything fell into He Fei's eyes. Naturally, after the pain of losing a child, he paid great attention to the two brothers He Quan and Huo. Therefore, we also know their temperaments very well. Xiao Xian is the founding spirit and we can't defeat him. We can't even defeat the monsters he guards. But just because we can't defeat it doesn't mean Xiao Xian can't defeat him either. As soon as this statement came out, He Quan's attention was completely attracted to him. Without even noticing, he was being led by He Fei without even realizing it. What do you mean by this? We can use Xiao Xian's hands to kill the monsters, and when the Ice Soul Crystal appears, let my great-great-grandson go search for it. When the time comes, even if Xiao Xian is the founding Yuanling, it will be impossible to snatch it away. As soon as this statement came out, all the elders of the He family agreed. There is nothing worse than killing someone with a borrowed knife. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 383. In the mountains behind the Xiao family, Xiao Xian is receiving the last reward in the system. Ding! Congratulations to the host for breaking through the mystery in the womb, restoring the memory of the founding spirit, and gaining the aura of heaven and earth. All the spiritual energy of heaven and earth can be used by the host, even the energy of demons. From now on, the host is the strongest in the world, even the way of heaven is just a younger brother's existence. From today on, if you want to walk sideways, no one will dare to say no to you, even if there is, dead. The host has completed all tasks, and this system can officially go off work. 996 will never be seen again. Since the host has completed all tasks, this system will turn into a magic weapon with detection capabilities. When encountering people or things unknown to the host, they will appear automatically. It's time to get off work, and the host will never be seen again. This system allows you to live a retired life ahead of schedule. A series of messages from the system suddenly appeared in front of me. Xiao Xian was immediately dazzled. After he saw all the news clearly, I just felt speechless for a while. The system actually still has off-duty time. Is the aloof persona that Daking has been showing off with him just an act? This idea came to Xiao Xian's mind. It was out of control. So an evil idea also came to his mind. So after he received the reward, directly look for the usage rules of the system. When I see a line of words at the bottom, Xiao Xian knew that his chance for revenge had come. Note, when using the system, if you are not satisfied with the experience, you can complain. If you are very dissatisfied, the system will serve you again. If it is extremely dissatisfied, the system senior management will send the system to other small worlds to continue serving other hosts. Seeing this, Xiao Xian lightly clicked on it a few times. A huge rating page appeared in front of him. Then he clicked 1 star without hesitation. When I saw there were 20 rating pages behind me, Xiao Xian chose 1 star for all without hesitation. But the last one is full marks. Just because it is a rating page with an extremely poor rating system and service attitude. A 5-star positive review is a 5-star negative review. After doing all this, Xiao Xian quickly chose to quit. The moment he quits, the system becomes a magic weapon that can only detect everything. This moment, Xiao Xian's mood was extremely good. But the system is preparing for retirement. But I found myself entering a workplace. There was even a message from Xiao Xian. To thank you for your silent companionship for so many years, I specially chose the retirement mode for you. I hope you like it. As the screen disappears, there is also an expression that the system is about to cry without tears. How could I forget that this main character is made of a puddle of ink? At the same time, Xiao Xian also left the back mountain and came to the entrance of 6 paths of reincarnation. The scene in my mind where Ho Tu Gan transformed into the 6 paths through his body is still vivid in my mind. If not for her dedication, the losses in the prehistoric world in that original battle were much greater. Thanks to her too, Wangshu was transporting his soul, so as not to be chased by those people. But because of this, Ho Tu was trapped in it for life and could not get out. Even the entire 6 realms of reincarnation is her world. Xiao Xian just stepped in. Then there was an aura of immortality surrounding him. You came. There was a warm breath on his neck. The body also seemed to be stuck in a river. That feeling of touching nature. Xiao Xian couldn't help but become addicted. I knew you would come here to find me, so I waited for countless eons. Fortunately, I didn't give up. Ho Tu's figure gradually appeared. Wearing a dark green shirt, she added a sense of compassion to her appearance. Once you take one look at it, you won't be able to take your eyes away. I will take you out. Xiao Xian gently stroked her head. There was a strange emotion in his eyes. That emotion is beyond friendship. But I dare not touch the position of love. Ho Tu naturally noticed the emotion in Xiao Xian's eyes. But she knew that Xiao Xian would not love her as much as he loved Wangshu. There is an essential difference between her and Wangshu. Hope Shu can give everything for him. But she can't. Thinking of this, Ho Tu's heart suddenly became heavy. I am satisfied just to be able to see you. Ho Tu came out of Xiao Xian's arms with some reluctance. He lowered his eyes and looked at his toes. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't be reincarnated in the 6 realms of heaven. Now that I'm back, I won't let you continue to suffer like this. Xiao Xuanyi said sternly. Do you feel that the way of heaven incarnates into the 6 realms of reincarnation? Ah! It was just forced by Heng Jun and Tiandao. Now that he has returned, Then the rules of this world must be re-established. But he came here today with more important things. Ho-Tu is the creator of the 6 paths of reincarnation. All souls must pass through her. How could he not know Ho-Tu's heart? If you want to return to Yang again, you may need her approval. He touched the tip of his ear like a dragonfly touching water. At this moment, he felt like he was electrocuted, his whole body was numb, and his eyes widened in disbelief. I know, Sister Wangshu already said it back then. Such hot love made Xiao Xian turn his head uncomfortably. Therefore, he wanted to ask Ho-Tu if there was any way to restore the soul. It was as if he saw Wangshu in front of his eyes. Is there anything you can do? At this time, Ho-Tu slowly looked at him with a shy face. Ho-Tu smiled. Ho-Tu looked at Xiao Xian with more complicated eyes. Ho-Tu had already spoken out what he was thinking. It's impossible to treat yourself the way you treat Wangshu. But even so, Xiao Xian's voice was almost pleading. And told her some things. Even if it is an innocent soul who died in vain. Wangshu came here specifically to find her. However, he is not in the mood to face these things now. Ho-Tu's eyes drifted into the distance. Although I-Soul Crystal is the best way. Xiao Xian's soul originally wandered in another world. Wangshu's soul has been completely destroyed by Taoist Zunti. It's a bit difficult to save her, and the price to pay is quite high. Then he stood up on his tiptoes and gently leaned against his ear. Without waiting for Xiao Xian to speak. It was also out of her reach. Think about this. She couldn't control her heart beating for him and the deep love in her eyes. That kind of love is unique in this world. But it's not necessarily the only way. If I die, I hope you can take good care of Xian. He will definitely do some irreversible things because of me. Even if Xiao Xian accepts his love because of this. Even if it was deception, he hoped that the other party would lie to him once. This is the world he created with one hand. I don't want to see him destroy it with one hand. In that case, his death will be in vain. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 384. Ho-Tu looked at him solemnly. When you broke through to the quasi-immortal realm, the aura on your body spread to the prehistoric world. In order to help you hide, Wangshu lost one of her souls. If you want to save her, the only way to save her is the I-Soul essence. When she saw the flash of disappointment in Xiao Xian's eyes, Ho-Tu felt a little unbearable in his heart. But she still looked at Xiao Xian with tears in her eyes. Actually, you've always known that, haven't you? A light word. But it hit Xiao Xian's heart hard. That moment. He felt as if the fig leaf in front of his eyes had been torn away. A feeling of powerlessness suddenly arises from the bottom of my heart. Does he know? I asked a question in my mind. Then he chuckled, as if mocking himself. Of course he knew how to save Wangshu. Besides Bing Pojing, are there any other methods? He is the first person to exist in the world. Everything in the universe, every plant and tree, all came into existence because of him. How could he not know that a person had lost his soul? And in what way can the other party wake up? Wangshu is the only bloodline left by the innate demon god. Because of his trace of power in the body, it is enough to produce a soul. With the soul, there are also 7 emotions and 6 desires. Although she has the terrifying ability to split the soul. But it is also more susceptible to external factors. Every time the soul is divided. Except for enduring the unbearable pain. His own recovery ability also becomes worse as a result. She is of the bloodline of the innate demon god. Even if the law of heaven attacks her, he couldn't do much harm to Wangshu. But every time after splitting the soul, her ability to recover becomes even slower. This is also the main reason why Wangshu chose to imprison his true body in the ancient black hole. The black hole contains a ray of power from the remains of his previous life. It can nourish the true body and prevent it from being infiltrated by the power of heaven in the wild, thereby protecting the harmony between the true body and the soul. But because the soul has been out of the body for too long, the souls that resulted in the split have already developed their own minds, and reincarnations are scattered in various small worlds. I want Wangshu to wake up and merge with his true body. Bing Po Jing alone is not enough. These souls also need to be collected back. It is nourished by the soul-fixing ability of the I-Soul essence. Not only that, he also needs to go to the ancient world. Take away Wangshu's true body. Now he has regained consciousness. The remaining power of the black hole will also dissipate. At that time, Hong Jun and others will destroy Wangshu's true body. That is truly irreversible. Think about this. Xiao Xian sighed, "You really know how to poke my heart." Hu Tu wanted to speak but stopped. She knew that Xiao Xian just didn't want to face the facts. Wangshu is a person more important than life to him. Even if she used Wangshu's words, "Let Xiao Xian take care of himself," what you get will not be his sincerity. Bing Po essence loves hot weather, especially places with abundant spiritual power, which are her favorites. As the reincarnation of the founding Yuanling, you have the aura of the great Dao and a steady stream of spiritual power flowing through you. It would be better to give it a try and use your own spiritual power to attract the other party's appearance. Maybe you can make the I-Soul spirit appear in advance. The infinite words in Ho Tu's heart finally turned into these words. Ho Tu's words did allow him to catch a trace. Do you know what the Bingpo spirit looks like? Although the ice spirit is a spiritual creature that can cultivate spiritual wisdom, but after training, it will turn into a human form. This human form is an unusual human form cultivated by spirits. Although he has a human form, he belongs to the category of spirit body. But it has more attack power than ordinary spirits. If you encounter a dangerous situation, they will also take the initiative to launch attacks and even confuse people. Although Xiao Xian has a certain understanding of Bing Po Jing, but he has never seen it before, in his knowledge. There is no time when I need this kind of spirit body. He never thought that he would be reincarnated again. Ho Tu nodded when he heard this. I met her 30,000 years ago. She was different from the previous Bing Po Jing. Today's Bing Po Jing not only has his own thoughts, but also emotions. As soon as these words came out, Xiao Xian couldn't help but be shocked. She is especially curious about human love, so among the humans she meets, almost all of them were swallowed up by the dreams she weaved, and their souls were destroyed. In just a few galactic years, Bing Po Jing has grown to this point. Xiao Xian looked at Ho Tu thoughtfully. The previous I-Soul spirits were all spiritual beings, but they were not so powerful. It seems that I encountered some kind of opportunity. She has a trace of Wangshu's soul power in her body. This soul power not only helps her transform into a human form. He also realized the power of the Great Avenue, and his strength increased by leaps and bounds. And this is also the main reason why those human cultivators can't find her. Ho Tu's words surprised Xiao Xian one after another. Therefore, he left the 6 paths of reincarnation without looking back, heading towards Heshui County of Xinwu continent. Even with the dual nourishment of the Sea of Consciousness and the Tree of Life, you can be on equal footing with him. Therefore, even if you have a mind, you cannot truly control these minds. Only in this way can we help Xiao Xian to the greatest extent. As the Lord of 6 paths of reincarnation, these souls are her best helpers. She must understand the power of the Great Dao and let these souls feel the reincarnation of the Great Dao. Then she would be left with only a shell. Nor can the soul be stable. There is still a trace of her soul power. Xiao Xian thought for a moment. 3 years was nothing more than the blink of an eye to him. Then he looked at Ho Tu. Thank you. So you ask me to release my spiritual power in order to arouse Wangshu's feelings for me in her heart. So she chose to help Xiaoxian silently. What he needs now is support and the will of people. For Xiaoxian, this is great news. Especially the hopeless wisp of soul power in her body. By then, even if Xiaoxian finds the Bing Po Jing, it will be impossible for Wangshu to wake up. Now the I-Soul essence can not only help Wangshu stabilize his soul. Looking at the leaving figure. But if that were the case, Xiaoxian would definitely not have too much interaction with her. Ho Tu nodded. Bing Po Jing is different from other spiritual creatures. It has parasitic feelings. Once you encounter the relevant areas of the emotions that are parasitic in the body, the dormant emotions will be stirred up. With Ho Tu's guidance, he had a direction. Obviously she didn't need to say those words. So the first thing she has to do is to get rid of the shackles of heaven. In this way, Wangshu's soul will continue to dissipate. A glimmer of light suddenly ignited in his heart. But soon, Xiaoxian understood what Ho Tu meant. When the time comes, I will tell Xiaoxian what Wangshu said back then. Countless emotions in Ho Tu's heart kept occupying her brain. But Wangshu's soul couldn't wait. But it is far from enough to truly help Xiaoxian. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 385. Only by getting rid of the shackles of heaven. Only then can we understand the Great Road. The Tao is the highest level of spiritual practice. Although gradually retreating. But it is still an untouchable existence of heaven. This is also the main reason why Tiandao wants to completely eradicate Xiaoxian. Besides, that existence is about to wake up. She must understand the great path before the immeasurable demon awakens. This is the only way to become a great saint. Only then does she have a certain level of strength that can compete with the immeasurable demons. Even if you can't compete, you can still help Xiaoxian. To a certain extent, it can hold back the immeasurable demons. Restrict the movement of heavenly Dao. When the time comes, even the heavenly saint Hongjun will not be her opponent. But before that, she needs to gather the power of the avenue. Thinking of this, Ho Tu used the traces left by Xiaoxian's visit just now. And a hair taken from his body traces the origin of the power of the avenue. But he is under the supervision of heaven. Even the clues will be known to the other party. When Ho Tu had just gathered a trace of the power of the avenue, there were bursts of roaring sounds from the sky. Boundless pressure descended from the sky. Even the saints' descendants can't resist this pressure. Thunderbolts descended from the sky and hit the road to reincarnation. The wounded soul who was hit was instantly distraught. Countless wails resounded on the road to reincarnation. Ho Tu raised his head and looked up at the sky. The underworld originally had eternal darkness. At this moment it becomes a bright road. It's as if the hope of life has come here. Ho Tu raised a mocking smile. Looking indifferently towards the sky, the figure symbolizing hope. Do you think this will stop me? Ho Tu's voice was cold and indifferent. A trace of great power erupted from his body. This scene made the man in black above the sky change his expression. Although the avenue has retreated, it has not disappeared. Now Hu Tu can gather the power of the Great Road. This proves that the avenue is showing signs of re-emergence. If Xiaoxian had been eradicated, it would be easier to say. As far as Tiandao is concerned, it is just a training method. It's not a climate at all. But the mystery of Xiaoxian's awakening in the womb is a powerful enemy for Tiandao. Even if it is just an insignificant thing, it must be eradicated. So when he felt the power of the avenue condensed by Ho Tu, he didn't care so much and just sent down the punishment from heaven. Looking at the power of the avenue faintly emanating from Ho Tu, he couldn't imagine what it would be like if she really realized the great truth. How much help these innocent souls will bring to her. A mere saint dares to challenge the power of heaven? He is seeking death. Then he pointed a finger. A terrifying path to heaven descended instantly. In an instant, the sky and the earth changed color. The wind and clouds surged, and wailing sounds came one after another from the underworld. It makes countless forces daunted. Is this the power of heaven? It's absolutely terrifying. When God's power comes, what kind of behavior can make God angry? It's hard to imagine that the founder of 6 paths of reincarnation did something that made the gods angry. Discussions from the surrounding forces spread in all directions. This natural punishment attracted the attention of countless forces. The surrounding creatures were all running away at this moment. They looked at the terrifying scene in the sky with horrified eyes. A sense of fear rose from deep within his heart and spread throughout his limbs. With the coming of the fire of wrath, Ho-Tu's body was instantly swallowed up by the fire of heaven's wrath. The flames spread all around, devouring endless innocent souls. However, even in the face of double damage to the soul and body, Ho-Tu still had an unyielding look on his face. As long as she doesn't die, she will never surrender to heaven. It's enough for what happened back then to happen once. Tiandao looked at Ho-Tu's appearance, and a surge of resentment instantly rose in his heart. This is a defiance of His Majesty. It even challenges Tianwei's bottom line. I saw him slowly stretching out a hand. A huge palm appeared in the sky. As the fire of wrath burns, the huge 5 fingers landed instantly. The terrifying power of God, the fire of divine wrath that devours the soul. A double blow hit Ho-Tu's body. Even though she is a saint, she is vomiting blood at this moment. It is obvious that all the internal organs have been severely damaged. A saint could be severely injured to such a degree of harm. Enough to destroy a small world. The resentment in Tiandao's heart was the moment he saw Ho-Tu vomiting blood. Completely released. You have deep feelings for Xiaoxian, and Xiaoxian also has feelings for you. If you are asked to go and assassinate him, I think it will be twice the result with half the effort. When the time comes, do you think Xiaoxian will kill you or not? No matter how he chooses. It's a double blow to you all. He probably never imagined until his death that you would do anything to him. As soon as this statement came out, Ho-Tu roared at the top of his lungs, "You are despicable." Since he can say this, it proves that you have a certain ability and can control yourself. Under the law of heaven, everyone is an ant. As long as he wants it, there is nothing he can't do. It was just to control her to assassinate Xiaoxian. Even if he controls her to become a substitute like Hung Jun, that's no problem. At this moment, Ho-Tu panicked. She was afraid that she would really do something to Xiaoxian. Then she would never be able to forgive herself. That is her true love. Looking at Ho-Tu's heartbreaking look, heaven's joy comes from the heart. All things in the world are exuding endless vitality at this moment. The scene of the earth's rejuvenation attracted countless cultivators to watch. No, we can't let him succeed. Absolutely not. Ho-Tu roared angrily. The whole body's cultivation realm exploded at this moment. A ray of power hovered over her body. It was like a repairing spiritual power, helping her relieve the pain in her body. The 6 paths of reincarnation are broken. The next moment, endless roars came from the entire underworld. Wrong souls continue to emerge from hell. I'm free. No more suffering from the flames. I finally no longer have to bear the pain of cutting flesh and removing bones. Earth. My heaven. Ho-Tu, you are finally dead and liberated. Blood. Soul. Essence, the human world, I will completely conquer you. Along with the wails of evil spirits, one after another sounded. The 6 paths of reincarnation were instantly reduced to ashes at this moment. Countless evil spirits continue to emerge from the ground, heading towards the ground. For a time, all life in the world was in ruins. Human beings without cultivation are left to be slaughtered and become meat on the chopping board. In just 1 hour, countless humans were slaughtered. The ghosts walk in the sun and devour humans wantonly. Human beings have become their prisoners, without the slightest ability to resist. Tiandao did not expect that Ho-Tu would destroy the 6 paths of reincarnation, thus destroying his ability to sense the reincarnation of heaven and the 6 paths of reincarnation. Humph. Do you think you can stop my plan like this? Then with a wave of his hand, a big pit suddenly appeared on the ground. Along with the fire of heaven's wrath, Ho-Tu was suppressed under this big palm. From today on, you will stay in the eternal hell forever and bear the devouring fire of the wrath of heaven. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 386. The destruction of the 6 paths of reincarnation has attracted the attention of the entire universe. Be it monsters, or even centaurs. They all sent cultivators to kill the ghosts. The cultivators from the world of heavens led the disciples of their respective families to catch the ghosts. Help humanity get through this difficult time. However, in the destruction of the 6 paths of reincarnation, the souls of cultivators of all realms are included. Some sect forces are controlled by their own family ancestors and cannot live in peace. Even the resentful souls of the Xiao family have all returned to their home base. Although it can't cause much harm, but it made the Xiao family feel very upset. The disciples had too much time to take care of themselves and were completely incapable of doing anything else. Xiao Zhangtian is one of the main stewards of the 6 paths of reincarnation. The first thing he did was to lead the underworld personnel to capture and exorcise the family's evil spirits. Even Samsara, who had not been born for a long time, appeared at the family residence. Looking at the chaotic scene in front of me, a trace of solemnity appeared on Samsara's cold face. The 6 paths of reincarnation will be destroyed. The small 6 paths of reincarnation cannot contain so many innocent souls. If you want to completely conquer them, you have to reopen the 6 paths of reincarnation. However, this is tantamount to reaching the sky. Even if the head of the family is here, it will only make these evil ghosts unable to move. If they cannot be reincarnated, the people in the world will disappear completely and eventually become a ghost clan. Xiao Zhangtian stood behind Samsara, listening to him talking to himself. How could I not know how serious the consequences of this matter would be? Hu-Tu felt that the way of heaven was embodied in the 6 paths of reincarnation. Now the 6 paths of reincarnation are destroyed. It can only prove that Hu-Tu is also in crisis. Even life or death is uncertain. Although he has the small 6 paths of reincarnation disc in his hand, but it is not comparable to the original version at all. Nor can it accommodate all the evil spirits of the small world. No more constraints from the 6 ways. These innocent souls cannot be reincarnated, so there will be no birth of new life. The world has fallen into an endless loop. The evil spirits in the family have caught them off guard. Not to mention those innocent souls from the outside world. So what do we do now? Xiao Zhangtian has just placed a group of innocent souls in his hands. But they dare not let those innocent souls be reincarnated. Because a newborn baby is the best container for ghosts. If you want to conquer all these evil souls, you must recreate the 6 paths of reincarnation. Samsara looked at the ghosts of the deceased who had been conquered in the family station. His face became more solemn. As long as the 6 paths of reincarnation is established, even if Hu-Tu dies, there will definitely be no collapse. It can only prove one thing. Ho-Tu was held hostage by heaven, thereby destroying one's own cultivation and resisting the authority of heaven. Now I don't know whether I will live or die. Even if she is still alive, it is impossible to remain unharmed. I am afraid that I will suffer unimaginable pain. How to create it? What conditions are needed to achieve it? When Xiao Zhangtian heard that there was hope, he hurriedly asked. However, there was silence in response to him. If you want to create the 6 paths of reincarnation, you need the guidance of Ho-Tu. Her original incarnation was in the 6 realms of reincarnation, except for the power of heaven. And what she felt at that moment. However, they don't know where Ho-Tu is now. Not to mention creating the 6 paths of reincarnation. When Xiao Zhangtian saw this, he knew that creating 6 paths of reincarnation was not that easy. Therefore, he also fell into silence and stopped talking. But the situation in front of them did not allow them to remain silent. After a long time, Samsara looked at Xiao Zhangtian. I will go to the ancient world, and you will take care of everything in the world. When Xiao Zhangtian heard this, he was extremely surprised. Why go to the prehistoric world? Although it is not easy to create the 6 paths of reincarnation, there is no need to go to the prehistoric world. What's more, there are still Hongjun and others in the prehistoric world. Although reincarnation is a clone of Xiaoxian, has the same strength as Xiaoxian. But we can't risk moving forward. Why did you suddenly decide to go to the wilderness? Samsara sighed slightly. Ho-Tu may be brought back to the primitive world by the way of heaven. With just one sentence, Xiao Zhangtian knew what it meant. Ho-Tu serves as the creator of the 6 paths of reincarnation. It has an endless connection with the 6 realms of reincarnation. The 6 paths of reincarnation were destroyed, and Ho-Tu was the first person to suffer the backlash. At first, she couldn't bear to have nowhere to store her ghost. Humans coexist with the ghosts, and even become the playthings of the ghosts. Thus the 6 paths of reincarnation are created. Now the road to reincarnation is destroyed, and ghosts are rampant in the world, wreaking havoc on humanity and killing innocent people. But Ho-Tu did not appear. It only proves that she herself cannot protect herself. This trip is extremely dangerous, you need to be more careful. After thinking about it, Xiao Zhangtian could only ask him to pay attention to his safety. Only one of him and reincarnation can leave. I call this trick I can't put it down. As expected, Xiao Yuqing got up from the ground, grinning indignantly. Samsara nodded and then left. The whole person is like an octopus, clinging tightly to Samsara. If you don't want to be swallowed by the small world barrier, just shut up. Well, I'll leave this to you. The underworld needs people to manage it. Why are you being so rude? I'm not competing with you on strength. This kind of thing can only be done in an even and orderly manner. You can't master the high point if you exert too much strength or too fast. After all, love can't just be said, it has to be done. What, brother Samsara, can you take me with you? Before he could finish speaking, Samsara shook him away. Don't wait for Xiao Yuqing to finish everything. Samsara found something unusual. These innocent souls also need someone here who can shock them. Isn't life just about playing with the unfathomable and doing things that you can teach others about? Therefore, he absolutely cannot accompany reincarnation. This scene really surprised him. Xiao Yuqing's cheesy smile instantly magnified in front of Samsara's eyes. If we don't even have this bit of fun, then what's the point of living? Hey, look, I can't put it down with this move. It's so good. With the lightning speed, I'm simply invincible. Samsara's face is full of black lines, and I can't wait to throw this complete piece of shit away. So, I realized this skill. I named it. But what is more important than this is to enjoy life. So I shut my mouth very wisely. Xiao Yuqing chuckled. I suddenly realized this when I was riding a horse and making flowers. Oh, wait for me. Go down. Samsara used his power and found that he could not be expelled from his body. Xiao Yuqing wanted to continue saying something, after all, The skills he learned this time were so interesting. If he hadn't been quick, he would have been thrown into the family camp by reincarnation. At first glance, it looks like the kind of person who has never won an instant hit, but I can teach you this trick. His so-called name is not something I can bear. But that's it. At this moment, a figure in green gently tugged at the corner of Samsara's clothes. The figure of Samsara has disappeared. As long as you learn how to do it, you can keep it and see Chiao Feng all over the world. Browse countless Miao Renfen. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 387. Not only that, he even felt something extremely hard. It was now touching his tailbone. At that moment, Samsara wished he could just leave Xiao Yuking behind. Xiao Yuking, if you mess around again, don't blame me for being rude. Hearing this, Xiao Yuking tilted her head and looked at him with confusion. He also held a stick in his hand. What are you doing? If you don't let me hold you, then I must have a point of support. If you can't squeeze the stick in from the front, then you can only hang it at the back. Could it be? With that said, Xiao Yuking put away the stick. He came up to me shamelessly. You don't think it's my stick, do you? Although you look pretty good, I don't like this. Just when Xiao Yuking was chattering non-stop, Samsara looked back at him coldly. In just a moment, Xiao Yuking found that he had lost his voice. Heaven! Earth! How can I live without sound? My combat output depends entirely on this mouth. As the saying goes, whether the job is good or not depends entirely on whether the tongue is flicked properly. Xiao Yuking was slandering in her heart and looked at Samsara with a sad face. He pulled at his sleeves aggrievedly. He has thick eyebrows, big eyes, fair skin, and is the most coquettish and silly person. So when Xiao Yuking looked at Samsara with tears in her eyes, it really surprised the other party. But this does not justify the reincarnation unlocking technique. So he simply used a barrier to separate himself from Xiao Yuking. But for his safety, there was just enough space for one person. Seeing this, Xiao Yuking knew that there was absolutely no hope. I just had to calm down. Halfway through the reincarnation, I discovered the path of the innocent souls constructed by countless small world barriers. It was actually constantly breaking into pieces, and the innocent souls were trapped inside. Follow the ruined underworld back to your own world. A trace of solemnity flashed in Samsara's eyes. Ho-Tu must be found immediately, otherwise the whole world will be in chaos. It may even trigger chaos in the early days of the prehistoric era. At that time, it will truly be out of control. Therefore, reincarnation speeds up and heads towards the prehistoric world. But just as it was about to arrive, suddenly, several ghosts appeared in front of him and entangled him. The headless ghost, the dismembered ghost, and an imp. The highest level of the three ghosts is the golden immortal, which is the little ghost. But he did not attack the three ghosts. Once an attack is launched, all surrounding ghosts will be attracted. The attraction of living souls is enough to drive them crazy. So move on without hesitation. But Xiao Yuking behind him had a hard time. Not only was the headless ghost grabbing his feet, he almost had his little brother kidnapped by a kid. If he hadn't been so hasty and quick-thinking, he would have really collapsed. Save me. You saved me. You just left like this? Leave. Xiao Yuking was dumbfounded, looking at the figure who never looked back, and the desperate look of being unable to make a sound despite tearing out his throat. Xiao Yuking felt that she should belong to the category of broken and beautiful men at this moment. You black-hearted reincarnation, just silence this young master's voice, now just throw this young master away. You are at peace now, this young master is going to die. Brother Samsara. Help. How can I, a mere immortal, be the opponent of the Golden Immortal. Brother Samsara, come back quickly, don't leave me behind. Xiao Yuking was wailing in her heart, and her face was even more lifeless. Brother Three Ghosts, please be kind and let me go. I am only a 1,000-year-old little kid, and I haven't even asked for a wife yet. Xiao Yuking was begging for mercy and yelling at the same time. But the movements of his hands did not stop at all. Even if he wanted to, he wouldn't dare. That kid obviously coveted his beauty. If he didn't fight to the death, then his reputation will be destroyed in one day. Death reincarnation. You are deliberately taking revenge on me. Xiao Yuking was extremely angry and shouted to the sky. He actually shouted it out to him. Brother Samsara, help. After discovering that he could make a sound, he directly took out a speaker that was half a foot in size from the treasure bag. Even Jinxian's kid couldn't bear this sound wave. Xiao Yuking took advantage of this moment and used the flying talisman to catch up with Samsara's footsteps. If I can't beat you, I can't run away. Just after Samsara came out of the road of wrong souls, he suddenly heard Xiao Yuking's voice. The technique he used on Xiao Yuking was not fixed. As long as you leave 100 feet away from his range, it will be automatically released. In other words, Xiao Yuking was trapped in the path of an unjust soul. Realizing this, Samsara pursed his lips unnaturally. When he saw Xiao Yuking, the other party has been taken away by a kid. It seems that the kid forced Xiao Yuking to kiss him. Thinking of this, the corner of Samsara's mouth twitched. But he still looked in that direction to find Xiao Yuking. These innocent souls are no different than before. In front of him to the right was a tall tower that shot into the sky. What surprised him was that this place was no different from the human world. They couldn't even avoid it. There seemed to be something in there that made them extremely afraid. As the number of innocent souls reincarnated increases, the number increases. Samsara was surprised. If the cultivation is successful, it will be the cultivation realm of a saint. If you can feel the great truth, you can become a saint of the great Dao. At that time, even Hung Jun will not be your opponent. Wonderful. It's really wonderful. Samsara stepped forward to check and was shocked. The high tower contains a strong aura of merit. At this moment, a golden light flashed. Xiao Yuking and the three ghost figures were sucked into the black hole. So this is the best place to practice the Dao. What's strange is that none of the ghosts around him dare to move forward rashly. I can't even wait to see what kind of wonderful person this is. Samsara couldn't help but admire, what a wonderful person. This place serves as the critical point of the barrier of heaven. There was a flash of golden light, and the figure of Samsara fell steadily to the ground. At this moment, a woman walked towards him. Not only that, there is also a trace of the power of the avenue flowing. And the cultivator himself can also gain merit through this, thus condensing the power of the Dao. Use the power of the great Dao to let these wronged souls feel the great Dao and reincarnate in reincarnation. There is no trace of resentment in these innocent souls. Samsara was filled with admiration in his heart. It's actually the light of merit. No wonder the ghosts here are afraid of this black hole. But what surprised him was. Then he stepped forward and let the black hole vortex suck him into it. There was even a strong sense of kindness. When he arrived, he found a huge black hole in front of him. But why does the light of merit appear on the path of wronged souls? Is it possible that there are ancient Buddhas or great good people who have passed away here? Not only can it block Tiandao's exploration, even Hung Jun and others will not pay attention here. Samsara looked along the direction and found that there was a path to reincarnation here. Firstly, it increases the aspiration of the great Dao, and secondly, it allows these reincarnated souls to survive in today's world. Except there is no smell of fireworks, everything is like the human world. Even he couldn't figure out this method. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 388. The woman is wearing a green shirt. A red plum blossom on the forehead. The pearls are round and round, just like an enlarged version of Fuwa. Even after just one look at Samsara, everyone feels good about him. You are the new wronged soul, right? Has the realm master told you what to pay attention to? The woman's voice was mellow and rich. If you just listen to the voice, you might mistake it for a man. Seeing reincarnation and remaining silent. The woman looked carefully and found that he exuded an aura of vitality. But he is not a living soul, so he has some doubts in his heart. My name is Sun Fang, and I am responsible for taking over the newly arrived souls. You neither have the aura of a living soul nor are you from the underworld. Why are you here? Aren't you afraid of being massacred by our realm lord? Speaking of this, Sun Fang exuded an aura of golden immortality. Samsara saw that there was no trace of murderous intent in the other party. But it only shocked him, making him even more curious about the world owner of this black hole. I came here to find someone. He was caught by 3 ghosts from the outside and was sucked in by the black hole. Hearing this, Sun Fang's eyes flashed with surprise. You actually met 3 headless ghosts. Hearing this, Sun Fang knew the 3 ghosts very well. But reincarnation time is limited. He needs to find Xiao Yuking as soon as possible, and then go to the wilderness to save people. Sun Fang didn't know what Samsara was thinking. So he said it to himself. The 3 headless ghosts were not so cruel at first. At first they just did things like devour the little ghosts. This is a very normal thing in any small world, but after the destruction of the 6 paths of reincarnation, some living souls accidentally entered the world barrier and were swallowed by them. Not only did their strength increase greatly, even the combat power has soared. If it weren't for the boundless magic power of the World Master, where would we still exist? Hear this. Samsara roughly understood the situation. The World Lord of the Black Hole only appeared after the destruction of the 6 paths of reincarnation. In other words, that person was most likely to have supported Xiao Xian in ancient times. In the end, he was imprisoned here for offending heaven. Now that the 6 paths of reincarnation are destroyed, it is an opportunity for that person to rise. When did you get here? Sun Fang heard this and thought about it carefully. I have been here for more than a year, which is the shortest period. Some are almost 10,000 years old. Seeing that Samsara was so interested, she followed him and talked to herself. Let me take you to see this place. Although there are dead people here, it is more peaceful than the current world. Samsara is very interested in this world lord. If the other party really supports Xiao Xian, maybe he can get the other party to help clean up the evil ghosts in the world. After all, one can use the power of the great Dao to help introduce reincarnation. This world leader is still the first. With the addition of this person, those humans who have no cultivation level, the suffering suffered will be greatly reduced. And he can go to the prehistoric world with peace of mind. You may not think that our place is small, but it has already accommodated nearly 10 million innocent souls. With the help of the Realm Lord, at least 1 million wronged souls were saved. That tower is called the Great Road. Looking in the direction Sun Fang pointed, it was the tall tower he saw when he first came in. All the wronged souls here need to understand the great truth and accumulate merit points. Every object here, they are all media for obtaining merit points. When the merit points reach 100, it will attract the light of the Great Avenue to come, and if you go to the Great Avenue, you will have the opportunity to be reincarnated. Samsara listened to Sun Fang's introduction. Follow her footsteps to the front of the avenue. Looking at the innocent souls being sent out one after another above, Samsara was filled with emotions. Do you accept all the innocent ghosts? Suddenly he thought of the evil spirits outside and asked about the storage situation here. No, the Realm Lord will kill all the extremely vicious souls of injustice. Those who can measure it will do so, but those who are afraid of the light of merit are generally unable to measure it. This does not rule out the possibility of some innocent souls who were good people in life and became evil ghosts in death. This kind of innocent souls are not afraid of the light of merit and can come and go freely. Speaking of this, Sun Fang had a trace of fear on her face. Obviously there is such an injustice. For them, it is a huge threat. For this reason, the Realm Lord set up a barrier here after the destruction of the 6 paths of reincarnation. Unless the wronged soul is recognized by the Realm Master, everything will be killed by the barrier. Sun Fang paused and looked at Samsara with doubts. But you are the first person who can enter without being recognized by the World Lord. When talking about people, Sun Fang's tone was a little more serious. Apparently confused that reincarnation could enter here. Who is your Realm Lord? This is where reincarnation is most concerned. She is a person from the ancient times. This place has existed since the emergence of the 6 paths of reincarnation. The strength of the Realm Lord is no worse than that of a saint, so this is also the main reason why those evil ghosts dare not offend easily. After the destruction of the 6 paths of reincarnation, the strength of the Realm Lord was weakened, and the number of evil ghosts outside increased. They felt that the Realm Lord was no longer fearful, so they launched an attack here a year ago. The final result is that all those innocent ghosts are eradicated, which is also the main reason why we are safe and sound. Sun Fang's eyes shone with dazzling admiration. There was a look of deep admiration on his face. This Realm Lord is a godlike existence in her eyes. Samsara was also more curious about that Realm Master. Then when will your Realm Master come back? Sun Fang thought about it carefully and then said, every month super day. Exceeding the day. Yes, the day of salvation is when the light of the Great Avenue comes. You can also understand it as the time when the souls of the dead are saved, just like this. Sun Fang pointed at the innocent souls whose bodies were glowing with golden light. The eyes are full of envy. Being able to reincarnate is the expectation of every wronged soul. The Realm Master should be back soon. Sun Fang's face looked a little lonely at the moment. He said goodbye to Samsara and prepared to leave. Girl, stay here. Have you ever seen a fair-looking, 7-foot-tall man? He wears a jade plaque around his waist. Sun Fang thought for a moment, are you talking about Xiao Yuking, young Master Xiao of the Xiao family? When Samsara heard this, a bad thought flashed through his mind. Exactly. Young Master Xiao is graceful, and the jade trees stand in the wind. Things like surviving on the opposite road. He was even more at ease. Even though I only had half a month with him, I had an experience that doubled the number of things I could do. As soon as these words came out, Samsara suddenly regretted the action he chose to save people. This guy deserves to be eaten by those evil ghosts. Don't get me wrong, I was the first to start a verbal war with him, but I couldn't resist his combination of man and car. Samsara was greatly surprised when he heard this. This girl who looks like a fuwa is actually the one with an ugly face. A kid with ulcers on his body and a foul smell. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 389. Look at this, the 3 little ghosts who were sucked away by the black hole. It was enlightened by that Realm Master. As for why the 2 of them stay together. With Xiao Yuking's handsome attitude, he must have coaxed people to the point where they couldn't tell north from south. If possible, I would like to marry him, but I know that a person like me is not worthy of him. After saying that, there was deep reluctance in his eyes. After he came here, he was taken away by Grandpa Ghost. There is a place for living people to survive. If he stays here for a long time, it will damage his vitality. Even if he goes out, he will become an idiot. Sun Fang pointed to a quiet path ahead. His eyes were full of yearning. That's a place I can't go. I can only give you directions. Samsara nodded, and then said, then are your realm masters also in there? Today is the day of transcendence, according to what Sun Fang said. When the time comes, this realm lord will appear on the Great Road. But because the other person is busy with his affairs, you may not necessarily see him alone. So he needs to have all the information about the other party. Let the other person do things for you when necessary. Sun Fang shook his head. The place where the realm lord appears is random, but it will definitely not be at Grandpa Ghost's place. Although she appears every Transcendence Day, sometimes she misses it because she is out hunting evil spirits. Therefore, Grandpa Gui, an old man who has been following him since ancient times, has full authority to handle everything. He also proposed the idea of transcending the sun. Only the souls of wronged souls can realize the Great Way. Only then will the Ghost Grandfather and the World Master appear and help the wronged souls reincarnate. Xiao Yuqing was saved by the Realm Master. If the Realm Master hadn't taken action in time, he might have died in my hands. Speaking of this, a trace of guilt flashed across Sun Fang's face. Don't wait for reincarnation to say anything. Just leave from here without looking back. Samsara looked at the road, his thoughts drifting away. The 6 paths of reincarnation are destroyed, but it can still help the souls of the dead to reincarnate, thereby gaining merit and helping oneself break free from the constraints of heaven. In this way, a saint can prove the Deo. This not only gains merit, but also lets more people know about the existence of the Great Way. In this world, death is not the real end. Forgetting is. The reason why Tiandeo has become a powerful existence among the world. It is precisely because the Great Road does not care about worldly affairs. Coupled with the method of the Great Deo, extraordinary people can understand it. And the way of heaven only needs to be guided and follow the pace. When both talent and talent are qualified, you can make a great career in this world. Even if your talents are not good enough. As long as you have enough strength, you can smash it. The main road is different. In addition to talent, no matter how strong your background is, it can't change at all. Only the truly strong can understand the method of the Great Deo, and go a long way on this road. The better your talent, the more power you can comprehend. The combat effectiveness becomes even more terrifying. Thinking of this, Samsara chuckled. The way of heaven? If it is the way of heaven, once a human being is beyond his control, then the heavenly punishment will be sent down, and the opponent will be eliminated quickly. When he came to his senses, he had already arrived in front of a courtyard. Sun Fang watched reincarnation enter that world. 2 lines of clear tears fell from the corners of his eyes. What a wonderful living soul! If I can eat him, then I can be reincarnated right away. It's a pity that his strength is so powerful that when standing next to him, he feels like his soul will be crushed. Otherwise I will definitely eat him. Thinking of this, Sun Fang was still shuddering. If the disguise is not good enough, it will really be completely cool. Damn Xiao Yuqing, don't think you are so graceful, like a jade tree facing the wind. Even if he is mixed in the crowd, he is still so conspicuous, even with a mean smile. You're so charming, I won't let you go. You don't bring any money when you go out to play. I am the number 1 in Wanhua Tower. If it hadn't been burned by fire, why would it be so ugly? Sun Fang stamped her feet indignantly. I wish I could pull out Xiao Yuqing and cut her into pieces with 1,000 knives. If Grandpa Ghost hadn't come out in time, Xiao Yuqing is going to become her ghost husband. At this time, a strange phenomenon came from the road. Sun Fang's eyes changed and she hurriedly left here. Then it appears at the foot of the avenue road. Enlightenment at this moment is the best opportunity to obtain reincarnation. Because the Realm Lord has appeared. As soon as Samsara arrived at the door, he was invited in by the people inside. An old man in black clothes sat in the middle of the courtyard with a kind look on his face. "You're here, the Realm Master has been waiting for a long time." When Samsara heard this, he was not surprised at all. To be able to live until now without being restrained from the hands of heaven. It can be seen that he is not an ordinary person. Since he is a supporter of the founding Yuanling. Then when he entered, he had already noticed it. Just waiting for him to take the initiative. "Your Excellency must be the Ghost Master. Giving gifts in reincarnation." Although he is Xiao Xian's clone. But it does not represent Xiao Xian. You still have to do all the etiquette that you should have. Please wait here for a moment to finish dealing with the reincarnation intention of the innocent soul. The Ghost Master waved his hand, and a stone bench appeared in front of him. Samsara sat down and heard a loud noise behind him. "You've finally come to reincarnation. Let me tell you, if Grandpa Ghost hadn't taken action in time, I would have had my hair cut off now. You are so cruel, you don't care about my life or death. I, Xiao Yuking, am the Master's treasure. If the Master knows about it, you won't be able to eat it and walk away." Samsara looked at him with a cold face. "If you say one more thing, I will make it impossible for you to come back." Xiao Yuking shivered all over. Then it shriveled and collapsed, like boneless mud. Lying next to Samsara, she looked at him with tears in her eyes. "Brother Samsara, do you know how much people have sacrificed to find you? That kid, you are so scornful of me. If Grandpa Ghost hadn't come to the rescue, what you see now. But it's my soul. Since you brought me out, you must take me back. Brother Samsara, I haven't seen you for only half a month, and I miss you so much. Brother Samsara, trough, silence the voice of labor and management again. Reincarnation. Thank you. Death reincarnation, just wait, when I grow up, I will make sure you look good." Xiao Yuking had just finished speaking when she suddenly found that her acupuncture points had been blocked by reincarnation again. One of them couldn't hold it back and sent greetings to the 18 generations of reincarnated ancestors. No more noise. Samsara simply closed his eyes and rested his mind. Waiting for the arrival of the Realm Lord. After all, it is up to her to save the innocent souls from the outside world. Seeing that the quarrel was fruitless, Xiao Yuking was worried that Samsara would kill her. After all, he is the god of death in charge of the 6 paths of reincarnation. Incomparable to Tathagata, he is a kind and compassionate man. In order to protect his own life, he pinched Samsara's arms and legs very wisely. At this moment, a figure slowly appeared in front of everyone. Samsara opened his eyes and looked along the light. He was actually shocked by the appearance of that person. "Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors." Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 390. I saw that figure walking slowly. There was a long-lost smile on his face. Looking at the person in front of him, Samsara was greatly shocked. "I didn't expect you to still have this hand." Looking at Hutu standing in front of him, Samsara has to say that her ideas and courage are astonishing. Today's scene looks like a desperate situation. In fact, it's terrifying to think about it carefully. Perhaps it begins with the reincarnation of the 6 realms of reincarnation. He is already planning today's cause and effect. If it hadn't been for Xian's awakening, I would not have taken this step anyway. There was a hint of helplessness on Ho-Tu's face. When I was incarnating in the 6 paths, she relied on the power of the sea of blood. Create a black hole at the end of the world barrier. Even Tiandao and Hung Jun were unable to survey the situation inside. Therefore, this place also became her second reincarnation path. In the countless galactic years when Xiao Xian was away, She takes in the wronged souls from the outside world and uses the power of the great Deo to reincarnate them. At the same time, you can obtain merit and vows to prepare for emergencies. But what she didn't expect was, things developed so quickly. It's just that I can't help Xian. This is what makes me feel most guilty. Hutu sighed. Look towards the light of the avenue above the sky. There was deep self-blame in his eyes. The moment Samsara saw Hotu, I was suddenly shocked. Since you are here, who is the backsoil of the ancient times? Thinking of this, a flash of nervousness flashed in his heart. Hotu seemed to know. The expression on his face was indifferent, exactly the same as Xiao Xian's indifferent expression. On that day, heaven sent down punishment and started killing me, but it didn't dare to kill me completely. Therefore, I created another substitute. That substitute is me, but it is not me. When Samsara heard this, there was some doubt in his eyes. What do you mean? That substitute was based on the paranoia in my heart, so even Xian couldn't detect the problem. Hotu looked at Samsara calmly. His eyes were calm and unruffled. It seemed that nothing in this world was worthy of her impulsiveness. That is the substitute of love among my 7 emotions and 6 desires. I have a paranoid love for Xian. He can do anything for Xian, and he will also do incomprehensible things for Xian. When you hear the words in reincarnation, you will know the reason. Hutu serves as the creator of the 6 paths of reincarnation. He is a saint again, regardless of his strength and fighting ability. They are all among the best in the prehistoric world. There are almost no opponents among the heavenly saints. However, such a horror exists. But he is a supporter of the opposite of heaven. In order to protect their own regime from threats, only use thunderous means to scare the people below. Therefore, Hotu became the first to obtain the fruits of heaven. But the saint was imprisoned. In the eyes of everyone in the world, Hotu is not only a certified saint. He also created the 6 paths of reincarnation and became the master of reincarnation. It is a supreme honor and a great opportunity. But only Avenue supporters know that. How powerful is the intimidating power of Tiandao's move? After Hotu was imprisoned, everything goes according to heaven's plan. But he never expected it. Hotu actually still has some backup moves. Not only did it leave a large number of Dao supporters for Xiao Xian, it even condensed the light of the avenue. As long as she succeeds in attaining enlightenment as a saint, even a saint can completely get rid of the shackles of heaven. But Hotu has such a cautious character. The clues will not be easily caught by heaven. So all this is the plan of heaven. It's also Hotu's plan. Perhaps, even that clone was plotted by Hotu. So, you did it on purpose. Samsara's tone was very certain. The expression on his face was irresistibly serious. Hotu nodded. The only thing I can face him with is this paranoia. If this paranoia can help her get Xiao Xian's attention, then she would take it back. If not, it can be considered as completely cutting off your own thoughts. Su guessed what Hotu was thinking. Samsara's eyes fell on her. Such behavior is nothing more than looking for trouble for yourself. You know better than anyone what kind of person Xiao Xian is. Although he is a clone created by Xiao Xian, but there are memories of Xiao Xian in his mind. Xiao Xian was unwilling to face this emotion because of Wang Shu's incident. As a bystander, he knows best. He and Hotu lived together day and night for several galactic years. In the Milky Way year when Wang Shu never appeared, Hotu is the untouchable white moonlight in Xiao Xian's heart. I'm afraid you will get deeper and deeper into it and put yourself in a dilemma. The words of reincarnation shocked Hotu. How could she not know the final result of doing so? No matter which option it is, the final result is all controlled by heaven. To get rid of the control of heaven, only the way of heaven can be completely eradicated. But whether it's for her or for myself, Xiao Xian will do this. And this is her ultimate goal. You're just kidding yourself. A trace of disappointment flashed in Samsara's eyes. At this moment, the fortress built up behind the earth collapsed completely. Somehow, she seemed to see the way Xiao Xian looked at her. If you follow your own plan. After Xiao Xian learned all this, she will definitely be disappointed. By then there will really be no chance at all. Xiao Yuking on the side ran to Hutu's side with a bump in her stomach. He gently pulled her sleeve. Mother Hutu, don't look at our master as a piece of ice that has become a spirit. It's actually very easy to coax. Just like a piece of steel encountering a hot flame, it melts instantly. The more gold water, the higher the temperature, the faster the molding, and the better the experience. After saying that, he didn't forget to bump Ho-Tu's arm with his shoulder. Xiao Yuking patted her chest, but he couldn't guarantee anything else. But he absolutely dares to guarantee Xiao Xian's combat ability. It's like a desert, once it encounters timely rain. That's something that can be solved with just one rain. Samsara glared at him. Xiao Yuking shrank her shoulders angrily. He touched his nose and ran behind him dejectedly. She looked like a wronged little daughter-in-law. But he was already cursing in his heart. After hearing so much, he understood one sentence clearly. Ho-Tu loves Xiao Xian, and Xiao Xian loves Ho-Tu. But Xiao Xian is a coward and dare not admit it. So much so that Ho-Tu split into clones to seek verification. Then choose one of the two results. The good and the bad all made Xiao Xian fall in love with her. Tisk, 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 I have never seen such an infatuated woman. If she hadn't meant something, it would be most suitable to take her back to be my wife. Thinking of this, Xiao Yuking was ready to implement this matter. But suddenly he was struck in the head, and he saw that Samsara's eyes had been occupied by murderous intent. Xiao Yuking muttered a few words and shut her mouth completely. The surroundings were completely quiet. Samsara was going to contact Xiao Xian and tell him what was going on here. But I found that even the connection between the soul and the soul could not be established here. Ho Tufanfan stepped forward. Pointing to the dark patch of sky above the sky.